Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk more about Doctor Who. We're going to do a postmortem on the Disney Plus run of Doctor Who, and the rumor that the reason that Russel T Davies threw Billie spoiler.
Oh, he's the one that decided this?
Yes. The reason he threw Billie Piper into the mix at the end of the last episode of Doctor Who, had Shuigatwa regenerate into Billie Piper, was to try to buy more time with Disney.
But they didn't get renewed at Disney, did they?
They don't know yet. Still up in the air. And I have to wonder if the reason they had all of these stunt cameos, because look at what we got. And again, huge spoiler if you haven't watched the last couple episodes of Doctor Who. Nobody really has. But so many things that people have asked for so long. Susan Foreman, the Ronnie, Omega. You know, but he kind of did dirty by all of them. And then they're bringing Billie Piper back. And the only thing he could have done differently was bringing freaking Romana, you know, because that's like, it's so pretty much threw everything but the kitchen sink at it. Brought, David Tennant back at the beginning, only to, run him through the mud.
But all they had to do was bring David Tennant back and not run him through the mud. Do make Doctor Who that wasn't so politically charged that even people on the far left said it was going too far. Undo the timeless, child, or retcon the child timeless, undo all that. That's all you had to do.
Well, we're going to talk about it because even the Guardian, which is pretty far left, is like, they're saying, hey, it's like trying to float a sinking ship. The reactions have not been good. And they probably thought, well, hey, we'll bring Billie Piper back. It'll make people happy. And it's like, no, actually, they're like, oh my God, are you serious? Is this what you're doing? But the rumor is that he did it just to keep Disney on the hook, to get them to pay for another season of Doctor Who, because the BBC doesn't know what they're going to do.
Well, again, like I said, if you hadn't done those other shitty things, you wouldn't be in this position now, would you?
People were, myself included, I was genuinely excited when they said he was coming back. He's bringing David Tennant with him, Catherine Tate with him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then he did exactly what I guess we should have expected.
Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, Fume. Fume is not another vape. It's not an e-cig. It's not a nicotine product. If it was, I would not be recommending them to you. I wouldn't. I have family members that had bad habits and bad experiences because of those bad habits, and I don't want anything bad to happen to you. It's something totally different. It's a simple, satisfying way to replace your bad habit without inhaling anything harmful. If you're stuck in a bad habit, maybe it's just something you reach for during a stressful moment, hanging out with your friends or out of boredom. You don't want to do that. Let's talk about Fume. It's a game changer. There's no smoke, no vapor, no nicotine, just natural flavored air that gives you something to reach for without the chemicals. Again, without chemicals. They've done studies, no chemicals. Sometimes breaking a habit isn't just about willpower. It's about having something better to reach for instead. Fume gives you an alternative. And it's not just about the flavor. It has a magnetic, fidget-friendly design that keeps your hands busy and your mind engaged. I actually tend to fidget with stuff when I record videos. It's just kind of how I am. I always have to be doing something, but you don't want to do something that's harmful for your body, right? There are a lot of flavors you can choose from, including crisp mint, tons of options from citrusy to earthy to refreshing. If you order the Journey Pack using my code ClownfishTV, you'll get a free Fume topper. So if you've been thinking about changing your habit, this is the perfect first step. Go to tryfume.com/clownfishtv. That's F-U-M, so it's T-R-Y, F-U-M.com/clownfishtv, or scan the QR code on the screen to grab yours today. Thank you so much, Fume, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo?
Yeah, so I think the lead comes from Star Whovian. I'm not sure if he's the one that has this other story. So we got a couple stories we're going to look at here. One is comicbookmovie.com. Doctor Who leaker reveals why Billie Piper was cast as the 16th Doctor. Possibly. We don't know if she's the 16th Doctor. Some people think she's either going to be the Moment or Bad Wolf, but also there might not be a story thought out. There might not even be a story here. It might just be like, oh, we're going to have Rose Tyler at the end. And I'm like, what a way to end it, right? Because Russel T Davies started with Rose. In fact, the first episode of New Who was called Rose, and then he ends it. Ends the series with Rose. You know, now people are like, what the hell are you doing? So there's that one. We're going to talk about the backlash to this, and we're going to start with Star Whovian here, who's been correct before. Said the BBC are worried about how they're going to continue Doctor Who. Billie Piper filmed her scene only a few weeks ago as a favor to Russel T Davies, who wanted a regeneration cliffhanger as a last-ditch attempt to convince Disney to extend their partnership.
So wait, is it going to be a case of where, you know, it's going to turn out that does she do an episode, or was it just like the transformation?
Just the transformation.
So it could be just like, joke. There's not really the face. It was
psych.
Just, you know, psych.
Yeah, we're never going to see it through. Or if they do another one, it could just be like, I'm more inclined, because they did not introduce her as the Doctor at the end of the episode. They just said introducing.
Oh, they
Billie
usually
Piper.
do that. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm thinking she's the Moment. She was also played the Moment. I'm thinking she could be Bad Wolf. I'm thinking, yeah, there are a number of things. I don't foresee her being the regular Doctor, because I think she's doing another series 2 or whatever. But yeah, it sounds like this is a Hail Mary pass. I mean, everybody's like, this doesn't feel very well thought out. But they did this with, and also, like, did they not plan for Shooty to leave? Because Jodie Whittaker, they knew she was getting gone, but they didn't have another Doctor lined up. So they left her regeneration open-ended until they got David Tennant to come in. And inexplicably, she regenerated into his clothes, which that's never happened, because usually the Doctor's always wearing the last Doctor's outfit. And that was a huge, like, clothes regenerate now too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently.
Didn't want to have him looking like a cross-dresser, even though she's wearing like dude's clothes, but whatever. So yeah, let's look at this. It's coming from comicbookmovie.com. Doctor Who leaker reveals why Billie Piper was cast as the 16th Doctor. Well, again, we don't know for sure, but who knows? Yeah, the credits don't include her as the Doctor, lending weight to theories. This is only an interim look for the Time Lord. It could be Bad Wolf. It could be, I think, the Moment. But this is coming from, let's see, the Science Fiction Fantasy Gazette. Andrew, he spoiled everything from the Ronnie's return to Ncuti Gatwa regenerating in the Piper. Yeah, all these rumors have been true. Ncuti's leaving, true. Jodie Whittaker's coming back for a cameo at the end, true. Billie Piper is going to be possibly the next Doctor, true. All these ridiculous, the more ridiculous a Doctor Who rumor sounds, the more likely it is to be true. The Doctor's origin is going to be retconned, and the Doctor's going to start out as a little girl. True. David Tennant's coming back because they're desperate. True.
Yeah, if you told me this years ago, I'd been like, no.
It's like, what are you doing? Like,
but
nobody
years ago,
knows
I cared. So there's that too.
I mean, can you imagine them bringing, like, they brought Tom Baker back a couple times for multi-Doctor episodes, right? But as a special thing. But could you imagine them being like, yeah, we got nothing. Let's just call up Tom Baker and bring him back as the Doctor. I mean, I would have loved it, but you know, it's like his last couple Doctors haven't really worked out too well. Let's bring Tom Baker back. Piper's casting was reportedly a last-minute decision. The plan was for us to get a cliffhanger regeneration. He doesn't believe season 2 either confirms plans for renewal or season 3 with Piper put front and center. Instead, it seems like stunt casting to round off Davies' return, kind of wrap up the New Who era by bringing it full circle. Again, they started with Rose, they end with Rose, and that could be it. Could you imagine that's the last scene of Doctor Who for how many years? Just like, yep. Billie Piper,
what gets me is what killed Doctor Who. What killed Doctor Who was the people they put in charge wanting to use agenda. And it's not like you can't say, because it's always been political. Yes, it has. But there's a difference, like we said before, like putting a pill in the ice cream and, you know, saying bend over, here's a suppository the size of your fist. Yeah. There's a difference. And they killed it with the, you know, to the place that it's so bad that even the people that are quote unquote woke think it's too woke. You know,
yes.
That's how bad it's gotten, that you literally destroyed it by making poor decisions that were just all about, you know, trying to bait and agenda stuff and then, you know, call people names. And you did all that. And the fans was, no, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, pretty much. It was beyond parody, right?
Yeah. So like, now you have to believe all these weird things when they come up, because it's like, well, could it get any more weird? Well, yes, it can.
Yeah. Like you've gone from progressive to woke to plaid. Okay. Never go plaid. So they said, yeah, it was a skeleton crew. They just pasted her face onto Shudi's body, so it wasn't really planned. Casting Billie was a way to increase audience interest, he said, a bit like casting Tennant as the 14th Doctor, and hopefully then make the show more appealing to Disney. BBC a bit concerned currently about how they're going to continue the show by themselves. Yeah, and then they got the whole issue with the license, right? Like that apparently is going to run out too, so they're not going to get revenue from that. Mm-hmm. And then Disney, honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. The only reason Doctor Who got more seasons, in my opinion, was because Disney picked up the tab for it.
Right. It was it. And I'm sure that was back in the whole time where they were doing all the, so Reimagine Tomorrow or whatever that was.
Yes.
And they were doing all that stuff then. So they're like, oh, yes, this is great. This is great. And then they finally realized, 3 or 4 years later than everybody else realized that this is a bad idea. And so they probably might have gone so far the other way because you have, Russel T Davies, the BBC and Disney, the trifecta of idiocy, apparently.
They were desperately looking for streaming content. I think they were looking for more like adult type shows, especially Doctor Who, which had an existing fan base. Of course, you flushed it. But if Disney's like, yeah, we have a chance to get Doctor Who and we're going to get all those Doctor Who fans come over here and then hopefully watch all the other stuff on Disney Plus and Hulu. And that did not work because Doctor Who, you never hear anything about the ratings on Disney Plus. Nothing. Mm-mm. And it's so sad because even here in the States, like I know Doctor Who is an institution in the UK, but here in the States, we had about, 5 to 7 years where it was like the biggest science fiction show on TV.
Yeah.
And they flushed it.
So you have to try to tank it. And they did. Like I said, all you had to do was do good stories that felt Doctor Who. So it didn't even matter if the Doctor wasn't white or whatever, or Doctor was a woman. It could have still worked if he had done it right.
So apparently, she did it as a favor to Russel T Davies. The Insider says she's happy to do a special or a series, but she's also fine just to film a quick something in an attempt to help out the show, even if it ends up being of no use. I don't think Russel T Davies knows why he has Rose Tyler's face yet on the Doctor. Most of season 3 was written with Shudi in mind, so don't expect 16 to be too much different. That's interesting that they wrote season 3 of Doctor Who with Shudi Gatwa in mind, which tells me that he jumped ship himself.
I think he jumped ship.
Or he got pushed out.
I think he jumped ship. I think he thought it was a stepping stone. I think he thought the stepping stone to get himself something better.
Yeah.
He always seemed to me like he was just temporarily there, even in his own opinion.
It's interesting because there's a clip of Christopher Eccleston from several years ago at a convention where he's with Billie Piper and they asked him like, what would it take for you to come back to Doctor Who? And he said, you have to get rid of Russel T Davies. Mm-hmm. Like he's terrible to work with and he ruined the show. And I don't know what the issue was. I don't know if he's ever specifically said, but basically all the people that were there at the beginning, he said that they're awful people and he would not come back as long as they were there. So, so it said that Andrew, who's this insider, says he's pretty convinced that Davies will never admit that Gatwa's departure wasn't always the plan because season 3 had only been delayed thanks to season 1's poor reviews and ratings. Had it been shot as planned while season 2 was airing, Gatwa would have likely had 3-year stint. That's pretty typical, 3 years as the Doctor. But now he wants to do Hollywood. Series is in limbo.
Yeah, told you. So yep. I said it was a stepping stone for him.
Yep, and there's not even a Christmas special. Like, I could see if they were leading into the Christmas special with Billie Piper, but they don't even have a Christmas special. The show's done. Like, it's just done. Unless,
it's this toast.
Because I can't imagine when Disney's cutting back like they are, and they're telling Lucasfilm, like, we don't have any more money for streaming. Do you think they're going to spend how many hundreds of millions of dollars to do more Doctor Who, a show they do not even own?
No, not likely.
And it's just been laughable, the reception to it. This is, again, it's come from The Guardian, which is left wing, trying to float a sinking ship. Here are the reactions to Billie Piper's Doctor Who return. Some person said they've been subconsciously waiting for it for 20 years. I was surprised to see her pop up. No, it shouldn't have been. The rumor's been out there for like 2 months. Despite my reservations, it was bizarre. Billie will bring me back. I don't think
Yes,
so.
That's what they're doing. They went and found people that are going to agree with it.
So those are the positive ones. Here are the negative ones.
Okay.
The show needs a break. Just having a familiar face isn't enough. Yeah, they tried it with David Tennant, and there was a bit of a ratings boost, but once they saw what they did with David Tennant, they're like, the hell with it. There's something unnerving about taking on the form of a previous love interest and wearing their skin as a suit. So is the bi-generated David Tennant doctor's still out there. Maybe him and Rose can get together.
Well,
And
no,
he
because
can,
that guy likes guys now.
okay, because I was gonna say he can literally fuck himself and then they can merge back together into one doctor.
There you go. I'm sorry.
You know, it's like the gatekeeper, the keymaster.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel for Shooty Gatwa, whose entrance and exit have been overshadowed by nostalgia grabs. That actually is true.
I don't feel for him. He's been a dick the whole time.
He has been a dick, but like he's sandwiched between Tennant and Rose, right? Or Rose adjacent Billie Piper. Last thing the audience wants is to get attached for what, 5 minutes before losing another doctor. Yeah, they're burning through him pretty damn quick. He's wearing a dress. Come on. The only thing I'm upset about is how poorly parts of the fandom reacted.
Oh, please.
I just want the show to be good. It was a shock. Show needs a break of at least 10 years. So Russel T Davies has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
If Doctor Who's content needs new ideas. Yeah, this feels like a step backwards, right? It feels, I mean, just in general, the last couple of years, it just felt like they're going back. Like, they got too far away from it with, the Chibnall era, because it was just boring as hell. But, like, you can go back to what worked with Doctor Who without bringing back everybody from those episodes.
Yeah, we have a formula that works. Why would you change it?
I don't know.
New Coke, guys. New Coke.
New
That's all I
Coke.
have to say.
So we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.